We are live. Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. Catch us on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you happen to be listening to this on iTunes, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review. I love getting reviews. I love reading reviews. So please go ahead and leave a little review there. Some shout out to some stand-up shows that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be back on the Jersey Shore. July 17th for Comedians of the Compound. We'll be at Uncle Vinny's. And then I'll be at Jinx on the Boardwalk on July 20th. Those are a couple of Jersey Shore shows I would love to see you at. So if you're in the New Jersey area, come out to those shows. Then I'm going to be in New Orleans August 13th and 14th. A new theater is opening out there. I know the name. It's somewhere. I think tickets will be going on sale for those shows pretty soon. And then I will be back in Vegas with Comedians of the Compound September 10th and 11th. Then back to Dallas. I'll be at Hyenas in Dallas September 17th and 18th. So check out my website, ChrissieMayr.com, for tickets and details and all that good stuff. And if you want me to come to your town, just hit me up on Twitter, tweet at me, tag the club that you want me to perform at, because I know they sometimes see that. And it all helps. Quick shout out to our sponsor, Cushy Dreams. I'm going to tell you guys about Cushy Dreams. They are my go-to for smokable CBD. If you're feeling stressed, I know they helped me a lot. Their products helped me a lot handle stress just all throughout the last year or so. They offer a full lineup of premium smokable CBD. They specialize in bud and pre-roll CBD joints like the ones over here. I personally really prefer the joints. I like to do these 5 packs of them. Tastes great, looks, smells, feels just like high quality weed, but it's not. It's not going to get you high. You can enjoy all the health benefits of CBD without getting high. There's under 0.3% THC. It's cannabis that ships directly to you. It's legal in all 50 states. Join the men and women who are sick of vapes and gummies and want to smoke their CBD. 100% hand trimmed, never machine trimmed. Each batch is slow cured for 2 to 4 weeks to guarantee maximum freshness and preserve flavor and cannabinoids. And best of all, it's grown here in the USA. They have specific indica sativa blends like Energy, Hustle, Relax, and Dream. So check it out, guys. Go to cushydreams.com, KUSHY, and get some high quality CBD bud at checkout. Use the promo code CMP. You're going to get 20% off every order, and I believe free shipping as well. All right, guys, without further ado, I'm so excited to have this gal on the podcast today. I love her so much. She's so much fun. She's like a ray of sunshine. She is one of the hosts of Mornin on Compound Media. You can watch her Monday through Thursday with my good friend, Bill Schulz. We're going to talk about all of it. Joanne Nosuchinsky.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for doing it. You're so like chic and lovely. I love your whole vibe.
Thank you. I have not showered today. That is a part of my brand. If you watch Mornin, you know I hate to shower. And it's a heat wave, so I probably smell a little ripe right now.
You don't look like you smell. Like some people look like they smell, and yeah, I feel like you smell like you look like you smell like deodorant. I just got back from Vegas, which is my brain is like at 20% functioning. I went out there to visit my sister and like see some other friends from the Blaze in Texas. We all kind of like met up out there, and like they did it big. Like I stayed in a very affordable hotel, but they stayed in like all the really nice hotels, and I could just go visit them while I, quietly paid $100 a night for my hotel, or no, probably less than that. So it was fun. And you were there too recently.
I was, I went about 3 weeks ago with my sister and her now husband. My boyfriend came too. And we had booked it months ago before prices went up for flights and hotel. So we got some pretty good deals. We stayed at the Cosmopolitan, one of those ritzier places.
That's a nice one. That's one of the nicer ones.
It's awesome. I mean, it's kind of modeled after New York. I mean, they have a pizza place. They have a lot of New York restaurants in that casino resort. So we ate really well So I really just like to eat and drink. I gambled a little, but other than that, it's like, what else do you do in Vegas?
What's your game? What did you gamble on?
Penny slots. However, everyone's like, oh my God, penny slots. No, like the max bet, you can be doing up to like $3.20 for each spin. So I set a budget for myself of like $150 a night, and I would go through it so quickly. And I was convinced I was going to win. Before I went, I was watching all these YouTube videos of people just playing slot machines and winning. So I just thought for sure it would happen to me. And it didn't. And it got me really angry. I was
like, I deserve this.
It was, yeah, I don't know. I really thought it was my moment, but it wasn't.
That sucks. I didn't spend 1 cent on any gambling machines. That's how you know I don't gamble. I call them gambling machines. Then there's slot machines. But I would so much rather, like, I bought 2 bathing suits. I did this thing 2 days in a row where I would like go to like whatever swimsuit store was like next to whatever hotel pool like that we were at. Like, so it'd be like the Ari, whatever the swimsuit store is at the Ari. I would go in and I would have like a Pretty Woman moment, like 2 days in a row. I'd go in and I'd be like, I need something. And then I would buy it. I always do. I'm like, I try it on. I leave it. I'm like, I'm walking out of here in this. Cut it off me. Like, cut the tags off. And I just put my high heels on and I just like walk to the pool in my new suit. It's my favorite thing to do. You feel like, I don't know. I feel like Pretty Woman, basically.
Yeah. If there's any place to do that, it's Vegas. For sure. People probably thought you won a ton of money and then you were like, I'm spending it.
And then I would be in the pool and I forgot to remove, the little sticker that's on like the inside of like the crotch part that they put there for like sanitary, even though what is that going to stop? Like, what is that little sticky thing going to stop? Like so I felt it down there while I was in the pool. I was like, oh no, hold on a minute, gang. I go down there and I like rip it out. And it's like, and these boys were like horrified. They're like, oh God.
Where'd you stick it? You took it out. Where'd you stick it?
I just like, I held it. I like walked over to the side and like threw it out. I wasn't going to like throw it at somebody, but it was just.
Yeah, you're not a monster.
I'm not a monster. I'm a lady. Joanne, you have an interesting kind of backstory. I always love and appreciate like any kind of, basically anyone in news or media who's like not a brainwashed liberal, but I had like a much different journey. Like I was that. And then I slowly over time with comedy, started to break away like my political identity. But I'm wondering with you, like, were you always a little bit conservative? Like you kind of started out, doing Fox's Red Eye. Correct me if I'm wrong. If that was like your first like kind of big break, because Greg Gutfeld hosted it from 2007, 2015. Did you go on while he was still hosting it?
Yeah, so I joined permanently. I did a few appearances in 2013 when I was Miss New York USA. They love their beauty queens, and then a spot opened up, aka Bill's old spot. And in February of 2014, I was hired to be a contributor and a writer at Red Eye, co-host. And then I stayed on Red Eye still, even when Greg left and Tom Schulz started hosting. And I also joined the Greg Gutfeld show as a correspondent. So I was at Fox for about 2.5 years.
Wow.
But yeah, it was my first ever job in media. I mean, I have a degree in theater. I don't know anything I'm surrounded by like political science majors and broadcast journalism majors and writers and all these people. And no, I think I was pretty and had a good sense of humor, and I was smart and well-spoken. And they were like, great, she fills a box. Let's put her in. And I was like, all right, I was 25. I was like, sounds good. I can quit bartending.
So did they find you when you were Miss New York? Did they kind of reach out to you?
Basically, this is how I don't know that I've ever shared this story before, but I was at like a Memorial Day party or a Labor Day party, and the guy's house, he's really good friends with one of the producers, Tom O'Connor. And basically this guy was like, yo, I'm here with Miss New York. She should be on your show, meaning Red Eye. And he was like, oh, we just saw her on like another show. I had done Neil Cavuto's show once as Miss New York. And he was like, we were thinking of having her on. So it was because of that random connection that I was a guest for a show. And then I came back. And then Greg was really the one who championed for me to join on. I recently looked back at like old Twitter messages, and I didn't realize like how big of a deal it was, or like what Greg was trying to do for me. He's like, so do you write? And I was like, oh, you know, I have like a blog, like I've done some blog posts. If you want to check it out on my website. He's like, no, like, do you think you could write a script for news media? Like, here's a sample. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm sure I could do it. Like, I didn't realize. You were so young.
What were you, like 24, 25?
I think I was 25 at the time.
You were a wee babe.
Yeah. So I met with a few people there, and it just all kind of worked out, which I'm sure this story is infuriating to so many people who want to be on a national like news show, who have, you know, put in the work, they've put in the hours, they've done their local affiliates, like they're trying to work their way up. My story is just like, you know, like winning $1 million on a penny slot. It's just doesn't happen a lot.
Has anyone ever given you shit, or have you heard anything to the effect of like, oh, you got it too easy, or you didn't have to like work as hard? Even though I think being Miss New York that's not nothing. Like, that's a big deal.
Well, certainly. I mean, the interview portion is huge. You know, knowing how to speak and how not to piss a bunch of people off is a part of the job. So that helped me. But oh my God, yeah, like Twitter, I would say I was even more active on Twitter back in like 2013, 14. And like the Twitter comments at me at first were really not great. Just like, who is this girl? Some people being super supportive, but other people, of course, being like really nasty. People don't like change. Mm-hmm. And I get it. Like, people loved Bill. Bill is like a weird flavor of ice cream. And then and then I'm like, vanilla caramel, what's up? And they're like, oh no, we want this cherry Bing over here. And I'm not everyone's taste, and I get that. And I think that really helped me learn early on just not to get so affected by online trolls.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. You learn those lessons kind of like early on. How did you like prepare? I think probably you're going to find these questions stupid, but I'm like so fascinated by like this glamorous like pageant world. Like, what made you want to sign up for it? And then like, how did you prepare for it? Like, did you have coaches? Did you have to balance a book on your head? Like, was there like, did you have to go to finishing school? I don't know. I'm so intrigued.
I had never done pageants before. I moved to New York 2.5 years before I decided to apply for the pageant, because, you know, I wanted performance opportunities, and they weren't really happening. At the time, I was in an off-Broadway show called The Awesome 80s Prom.
Oh my God, I was going to ask you about that. Because I think I went to the Awesome 80s Prom. It's like an off-Broadway show.
It was at Webster Hall.
At Webster Hall,
similar
to Tony and Tina's wedding, which was like this big Italian. Again, it's like an immersive Broadway experience.
Interactive.
It's interactive. It's like improv. It's theater. And I swear to God, I think I went with my sister like way back when. You were Heather number 2.
Yeah. Yeah. She's the broken Heather. So throughout the course of the show, she continues to get injured, and she has a knee brace, her arm in a sling, and a neck brace.
I remember that. I wonder if I saw it while you were there.
The show ran for like 8 years. I think I was in it for 4, and I ended up playing all of the cheerleader parts like throughout the course of the run. But it was a ton of fun. It was just on Saturday nights. So, you know, it wasn't like it was a full-time job. But it definitely like satisfied that like performance itch that we all get, right? But I wanted more opportunities. So at the time, it was like a periodical, like they actually had newspapers backstage. Now it's an online thing where they just post audition notices. And there was one for the Miss New York USA pageant. And I was like, I could totally do this. I'm an actress. I can just play the part. Mm-hmm. let's do it. And then once I was accepted, I had to do like a phone interview and an in-person interview. I was like, let me like really dedicate myself to this. Like if I'm going to do it, let me like really do it to win. And so I would like work out 5 days a week.
Ooh.
I was on like a diet that was essentially like not eating. It was like
those are the only kinds that work, to be honest.
A green juice and a handful of almonds. So, but no, I would watch a lot of YouTube videos of past winners. I would just like kind of do my research in that way of like researching a role. If I'm going to play this character, like what do I need to do? What's the costume? How does this character hold themselves? All of this stuff. But it's one of those things where I was faking it till I made it. And like, I just ended up loving it and loving myself. Like it sounds so like cliche and overly sweet, but spending all that time on yourself like really makes you go, I am amazing.
Wow. Yeah. It's self-love. Like if I
but like to the highest level,
working out 5 days a week and then like, not eating shit food is you're gonna feel really good after a few weeks.
And then also preparing for interview, like you have to think, what is it about me that these judges are going to respond to? Like, I need to know what it is about me that makes me incredible. That would make me a great role model, a great representative of New York. Like, what are these things about me? And then you start to go, oh my God, I'm incredible.
Like, I'm hot, number one. I'm a knockout.
Yeah. I mean, mainly. It is USA. It is USA. There's no talent competition in USA.
So what was it that you realized? Like, okay, this is the part of myself I need to showcase.
It was probably the part of myself that made me not win Miss USA. And that was that, like, I'm a bit of a cornball. Like, and we all know this, like, I can be cheesy with my jokes. I like to have fun and laugh at myself. And I'm theatrical. I make a lot of faces and whatever. And as soon as I won Miss New York, I received a publicist. And she said, theater girl does not win Miss USA. So we need to kind of figure out how else to rebrand you. And I think we focused more on my like scoliosis.
Yeah, that makes you basically disabled. Yeah.
But no, I loved it. I had a great time. I recommend it to anyone. It was a lot of money though. Like I really invested in myself. I think I spent $1,800 on an entrance fee.
Wow.
Just to participate. And then that wasn't wardrobe or like anything else.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of like moisturizing, skincare, a lot of gowns and stuff, swimsuits.
The fake hair, the fake lashes, the fake tan. A lot of money. Yeah.
It's a lot of money. I was going to ask you about this a little bit later in our chat, but since we do have a super chat about this, because I was, it's so funny to Google somebody you know. And I was like, I know Joanne, but I'm like, I'm going to go look into your backstory. And it's so funny. I found on like, I don't know if it's your IMDb or your Wikipedia or whatever. And so it's all like regular stuff. It's your background. And then I scroll down and then it says controversy. And it's about me and our like Kung Fu fighting video. And I was like, oh my God, I'm the most controversial part of this profile here. So this is a super chat from K-Max, fan of the show. For Chrissie and Joanne, what was it like to offend the Chinese? Wikipedia gave me this. Chrissie Mayr sang with Nosuchinsky in the 1990s hit Kung Fu Fighting by changing the lyrics to Kung Flu Fighting. Now China is mad. I thought this was such a tame thing, but yeah, I want to know your feelings about being in this controversial sketch.
I mean, if anyone has watched the video, I think I'm in it for 2.5 seconds.
Yes, everyone's in it for 2 seconds.
In a cast of like 25 people. I think one of the few people who actually has a Wikipedia page. So they're like, we need to do this to her. And at first I was really anxious about it, only because, Wikipedia is the first thing that pops up when you Google me. And then with my career with like acting and working in TV, and we all know like how liberal Hollywood is and everything, I just don't want anything to potentially harm my chances of getting work. So I remember mentioning it to Bill, and him like being the sort of hero he tries to be for me, somehow got it taken down.
Ooh,
I don't know how
good.
he got it removed.
I think anybody can just edit it if you're like a member or something.
But then months later, which ended up being like a year after this happened, someone put it back up. So I'm like, who is actively checking my page? I almost feel flattered. And now I'm just over it. I mean, again, it's context. Like, people don't like watch things or research things before they get offended.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we were making fun of a video, like a celebrity video, for being
of Gal
tone
Gadot.
Deaf,
yeah,
for being tone deaf. So this was our tone deaf like response to that, and people just don't get that. So it's one of those things where it's like, why do I shouldn't feel bad just because someone maybe didn't take the time to really think about it.
Yeah. Like, if you're too stupid to understand like what this was about, like, and it just sucks. Like, you don't want those people that are too stupid to understand to be like in hiring roles, right?
I know.
I actually had 2 girl comics who were in that video. One of which was like my very good friend, and I used her a lot. She opened for me a lot, but they ultimately were like, "Oh, can you take it?" This was like, again, like a year later. Like, can you take it down? Like, we're scared. Like, one of them like worked for iHeartRadio and was like very afraid she was going to be called racist. I was like, yeah, both of you were in it for 2 seconds. And then, but this message she sent me was like, I didn't know what I was getting into, da, da, da. And then I was like, and then I just sent her all the screenshots of our conversation where she like 100% understood what she was getting into. I fully explained it. She was like, oh yeah, that sounds funny. And like, her fully agreeing. It's just wild. Like, I think people get scared. And I said no, because I'm like, yeah, but like, then there's like 18 other people. You know what I mean? Like, why should I take it down for the 2 people that are scared when there's lots of people who like enjoyed it, thinks it's funny? And also, like, what does that make me then? Like, somebody who just, I have a creative project. Not like that was even the most clever thing. It was not that clever.
Well, I'll tell you, like, the first thing I thought when you reached out to me to do it was, like, I knew I had a ton of comic friends who were just out of work. Like, and as an artist, right, it's this idea of like, what can I do right now to be creative? Like, how can I stay relevant? How can I continue to create content? What can I do? So my first thought was, oh, let me help out a friend. Like, let me participate in someone's idea. And you never know how an audience is going to respond, unfortunately. But again, like you said, the response was from a few who unfortunately have the lung capacity of a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think I lost you.
Can you hear me still?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Wait, you're back. You're back.
I also, if I happen to disappear, just know that it's my funky internet cord, and just keep talking, because it's a fun thing that happens. But yeah, thank you for the super chat. And I missed somebody else's super chat. They sent over, oh, JL, thank you for the super chat of the smiley face. Wait, is it gone? I can't even show it. That's so lame. All right, thank you, JL. Yeah, I don't know. People get so bent out of shape, but I feel like you were kind of prepared to be a host of Compound Media. Like, was it, so you went from Red Eye.
Oh, okay. So I've lost you. So I'm just gonna chat. So I was at Red Eye, at Fox for 2.5 years. My contract was coming up.
It's literally after I said it was going to go out. Oh boy.
Could you hear me at all? I was chatting a bit.
No, but I know that you were crushing it. I know that you have those improv skills. So I feel like you're uniquely prepared to work at Compound Media. Did you have a bit of a time where you were like, oh my God, like, did you get any blowback from being associated with Compound Media? Did you get people kind of like shitting on you? Or was the fact that you'd done Red Eye for so long, 650 episodes to be exact,
kind of I didn't even know that.
Yeah. And then you went on to do Hannity, the Greg Gutfeld Show, Fox and Friends. You had a stalker.
Yeah. A whole lot. I've lived like a million lives.
That's how you know you've made it. Yeah. I'm still waiting for mine. I used to live on the ground floor of one of these apartments in Brooklyn, and there was a man who would look in my window I don't know if that really counts as a stalker, but I was flattered nonetheless.
More of a peeper, I guess.
He was a peeping Tom, or rather a peeping Pedro, because I believe he was Hispanic. I miss him. I hope he's doing well. So you had done Red Eye, and then so how did you meet Bill?
So I was just bartending. I had left Fox. It had been like maybe 6 months, and I had got like a few acting gigs here and there, but I was like, this sucks. And it was actually through Twitter. There was a fan on Twitter, and they're probably watching. I can't remember who you are, but you know who you are, who reached out to Bill and was like, or tweeted at both of us and was like, Joanne should come on the show. And I was like, I'll totally come on as a guest. Like, why not? Also because like I had known Anthony. He had been on Red Eye a bunch of times, was so kind. I always thought he was so funny. And I was like, great. I had also, I think, been on Anthony's show before, like while I was at Fox, which is crazy that they even let me like go on it, but they did. So I went on as a guest, and then Bill, we went out for drinks after, like he always does. Well, pre-COVID. We're slowly getting back to it.
Yeah.
But he said that, you know, the show was great with me on, and he was thinking about having a co-host join him. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I sat down with Keith the cop at the time, who was in charge of those things. And he was very excited about it just because of, you know, the Fox viewership and having a woman at the network. And so, yeah, I was just like, great. And then he was like, you get paid this much. And I was like, great, thanks.
Oh, nice. Would you have done? You're like, would you have done it for free? Probably not. I mean, you're like, well, you're looking to survive.
I was thinking of just like it not being like an actual job. I was just like a few bucks, and I was like, it'll help with the bartending and whatever. But I was like, oh, okay, like. Because it is a commitment. Like we're on 4 days a week. Like it's my main job, you know? Yeah. So yeah. And then the rest is history.
When you first met Anthony Cumia, did you know, a lot of people, they hear the rumors or they read up, they have the worst kind of impression of him just because they take more so what they hear rather than like the person in front of them that they're meeting. Was there any of that going on for you? Were you just like, oh, this guy's great, he's a good person, there's a good vibe here?
Yeah, I can only judge people on how they treat me, like always. Yeah, so it's just I was always treated very well and with respect, you know, and that goes for my whole time at Fox too. Like people will ask about, you know, I've sat and chatted with Tucker in the green room and Hannity, and, you know, I sat and did an interview with Donald Trump, and like,
really? Wow.
Yeah. For Greg's show. This was before he announced he was running for president. So I guess this was in like 2015.
How was it? How was meeting Trump?
It was great. He makes you feel so important.
Wow.
And so I have always said, I understand why people especially people who meet him or go to rallies or have the chance to shake his hand, like him. It's because he makes you feel important. He really does. I think that's like the businessman in him. You know, and Greg kept saying he was obsessed with me, kissed me on both cheeks, whatever. So again, I can only speak to my own experiences, and, you know, Anthony was great to me. And so I was like, this is a job, and I'm going to treat it like that. You know, I think it's also the actor too. It's this idea of like, my identity isn't in the job I'm doing. It's just the job I'm doing. But people really like to associate what you do with who you are, unfortunately. Yeah. So I understand why some people are like, oh my God, aren't you nervous? I'm like, no. Maybe if Compound Media wasn't subscription based, then I'd be a little more nervous, but I don't know.
Yeah, if you're subscribing, you're a fan. How did it feel knowing you were the first like female talent to be hired to the network?
It was kind of cool. I kind of knew. I mean, we never get told numbers or stats or anything about the viewers, but I was certainly under the impression that there's more male viewers than female.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And they were hoping that I would also bring over some more female viewers, just because there were a lot of them from Red Eye, like a lot of these like breastfeeding moms who were up at 3 a.m. I'm not even kidding.
Feeding, Joanne.
So I don't know if I helped bring over more female viewership. Also, when we used to do ad reads, there was this idea of like we could get more advertisers for like a female friendly product or whatever. So, but I don't know. I guess I just know how to hold my own around a bunch of guys, because I've just kind of always done it, whether it was like at Red Eye or even before that, like in theater. Certainly there's many people in the cast, but like the back of house, it's all men who are on the crew and whatever. So, and I just have a diluted amount of self-confidence. So I'm like, I'll be fine.
Yeah, you're fun. You're like but you also like don't try to be one of the boys either. Like you're very comfortable and confident in who you are.
I hate that. I absolutely hate women. I hate women. No, I hate when women say, like, I'm a guy's girl. No, all my friends are guys. I I understand football or like basketball or whatever it might be. And it's like, that's great. The fact that you keep needing to say it is what makes me suspect, So, I wouldn't say I'm a guy's girl, but I am a girl for everyone. You're shocked by my statement that you are frozen. You are frozen solid. There you are. There's 2 of you now.
God, I'm competing. Okay. I don't know what's up with that. God, I'm so sorry about that. I'll fix it in post. Okay. Yeah. So you hate it when somebody says I'm one of the guys, when a girl says that.
Yeah, it's because, especially if you're saying it to a girl, it's like, what are you trying to tell me? You don't want to be my friend? I don't understand why you feel the need to make that known. Yeah. Like, if that's who you are, it's just who you are. Like, you don't necessarily need to lead with that. And I see that happening a lot.
So did you get much, or have you over the years gotten a lot of crap for being associated with Compound Meat? Just because I know that I did a lot at first, but that was during my like breaking away from the left period. So I just was wondering if like you went through something similar.
I think coming from Fox, no. I was a little worried about some of my friends who are super liberal. But again, it's like subscription based. So like they don't really know everything that happens at the network. And certainly mine and Bill's show is like the tamest, I would say, of all of them.
I love Mornin so much. I think it was like the In Hot Water was the first show on Compound I'd been on, but then I very quickly did Mornin, and I was like, I loved it. I love the show so much. Like you guys, it's like you're funny, you're smart. Like you talk about the news. It's light. It's like it's a nice light palate cleanser, and it's so needed, especially now. Like every time you turn on anything that's remotely news, it's like it can get too heavy. It can be too much. So was that how the show always has been? Did you have a lot of, would Bill ask you, did you sort of help to shape the show, or was it like, here's a specific role, we need you to be this?
Yeah. We definitely took our lead, I think, from Red Eye. So how we would prepare for that show, like again, it being a panel style show with personalities and comedians on, this idea of like, let's find weird news, funny stuff, or like an interesting take on what's already being discussed. Let's add video, like weird video, animals, whatever, and just make it kind of zany and just unexpected and fun. And so Bill is certainly more into the like segments and video and stuff, and I'm thinking about like the poor person who just listens to us as they drive. I'm like, this must suck for them.
See it. Yeah.
And I love conversation. I love like engaging with our guests. So I think between the two of us, we kind of have like all of that covered. But I even just emailed him today after like spending an hour trying to look for fun stories to talk about. I was like, I could only find these 2. The news is really depressing today. So here's the like beginning of The Sopranos. They dropped the trailer for like that prelude.
I heard about this. Yeah, and like they're gonna have like the son be a character.
Okay, can I tell you? So James Gandolfini's son plays a young Tony Soprano. Looks exactly like him. Like looks like what Tony Soprano would have looked like as a kid in Newark, New Jersey. As he should. I mean, he's his son, but I'm actually excited for this. I think it's going to be really good. So like I found that and one other like weird TikTok video, but
That's good.
Sometimes the news is just like too depressing and it's like, why does anyone want to tune in and like to us to see that? You know, you could see that anywhere else.
And you have such a light, upbeat personality. Like I feel like I don't know, you handle yourself so well. I've never seen you like depressed or like upset. I mean, like you're just like you stay, especially when the news is so depressing. Like I just appreciate that you're just like naturally so light and fun and bubbly.
Yeah, I just always try to find the funny. I think that's like what you have to do. Yeah, maybe I should let things affect me more. I don't know why I don't. I was thinking about that recently. Like I used to be so much more emo in like college to the point of like, I think it was good for me as an actor. And now I think I'm just a little numb. I think, you know, I kind of had to be for so long. But no, it's all perspective. I think it's the Libra in me, honestly.
Is that your sun sign?
It is. So I'm trying, you know, I never try to be too much of one thing or the other. I can see every side. I'm a natural mediator.
Yeah, you're balanced. So, you like are concerned with justice.
Yeah. I also took one of those, I forget what they call it, but it's like the personality one where you're the letters.
Oh yeah. What is it? ENT or something like that? Or
yeah. I think I'm an INFJ. I think I got the letters wrong, but essentially I'm an advocate.
Ooh.
Which I have gone to one rally in my entire life. I don't like parades, but that's the issue. I'm an introvert, so I hate being around people if I don't have to be. Yes, I'm a performer, but like if I'm not getting paid to do it, I'm like, I can't. It's too much. So at first when I was like, oh, I'm the advocate, I immediately felt bad for not being enough of an advocate. And I was like, that's such an advocate of me to be like, I should be advocating for more. Yeah.
Such an advocate thing to say that it's never enough. Fuck Google. I love Joanne's personality.
Aw. Thanks.
I love it too. I missed something. I missed a super chat from K-Max again. For both, do we use the term gatekeeper too often to describe conservatives in the mainstream? Could a YouTuber like Lauren Southern get on there? Any 1 inch to Hannity's, right? What? Advertisers dictate.
I don't know that I've actually heard the term gatekeeper used to describe conservatives in the mainstream because I choose not to read that stuff. I had someone reach out to me about, they were doing a piece on Greg Gutfeld and how like he's evolved and like changed to be like super pro-Trump over the years. And I was like, honestly, when I left Fox, I stopped watching it. So I can't really speak to his evolution, unfortunately. So like in terms of all these like terms or ways to describe people, or I know people get boxed into certain things. I'm just like totally ignorant to it in a way that I like. I kind of like the ignorance in that realm.
Yeah, you don't get like so wrapped up in like the drama. Like I bet working for Fox, like was there, because we had Bill, it's just me. I had Bill on this podcast and he was really interesting. He was talking about that movie Bombshell, how they called him to make sure that things were accurate. Like he kind of contributed to the making of that movie. How close would you say it was to your like experience at Fox? Like I think it'd be exciting to work at Fox because you get sexually harassed. Like,
can I tell you, I was offended that no one reached out to me.
Wow.
Because here's what happened. I sat down with the powers that be and said I was giving it was a 30 days notice. It was like a month before my contract was up. I decided to sit down and do this the day before Gretchen Carlson came forward.
Ooh!
Which I didn't know was happening. It was like the day after the 4th of July weekend, so it might have been the 5th or the 6th.
You were still working there, or were you?
I was still working there, yeah. I was wildly hungover, and I was like, I need to do it today. And so I said, I'm going to be leaving. And then they're like, why?
Oh, they thought that you were.
But I didn't know this at the time. Mm-hmm. I hadn't heard any rumors about anything. And I was just like, oh, you knew this when I came on. I'm an actress. I want to pursue that, see what else is out there for me. They're like, so it's not anything we've done. Like they wouldn't let it go. And I literally said the words, it's not you, it's me. I just have to go. And then that came out and I was like, oh my gosh, they were worried that I was one of the people who was sexually harassed, mistreated, whatever. I was not. Right. I was not. So maybe that word got around. But I would have thought for sure the fact that I had left around that time, someone would have reached out to me to ask questions, but they didn't. But I wouldn't have had anything to say. True Joe fashion, I only had like the best experiences. So, God.
Maybe it was just a blonde thing. Like in that movie, like they were all blondes.
You know what? I think specifically Roger Ailes knew I didn't want to be there forever. When I would go to his office, we would sit down and talk about theater because he started in theater. And so he knew I kind of I wasn't hungry.
You weren't willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We'll never know. We'll never know now. He's gone.
How many times did you meet with Roger?
I think about 3 times. Once when I was hired, once when Gutfeld started, and then once when I asked for my raise. So that was interesting. I sat down with legal, or the financial side. I said my number that I wanted because I had been there about 1.5 years, and I was starting on Greg's show, but still doing Red Eye. So it was like a lot more work. And also Greg told me like what I should ask for.
That's good that you had someone helping
which you. I will say is huge. Like it is so infrequently that you'll have a superior tell you what you're worth.
Yeah.
And like really tell you, like he told me a number that I was like, ugh, I don't feel good. Me with all the confidence. I don't know that I feel comfortable with that. So I did like a little bit less. And I went in and I told them, they're like, okay, well, we need to look through stuff. Also, you need to sit down with Roger and ask him. And I was like, okay. Like, I just wanted to be done with. Like, I didn't want to have
and wear something tight when you do. All right.
I mean, listen, former beauty queen, I always would. Like, that's not degrading to me. Like, that is power to me. Mm-hmm. Right. So sat down with him. He's like, what's your number? I told him. And he's like, why? Why do you think you deserve that? Or why that number? And I was like, double the audience, double the work, almost double the pay. Like I was asking for a large raise. And he was like, okay, well, I'll have to look through, I'll have to talk to the financial department, see what the budget is for your show, if we can afford that. I go up to my desk. It's not even like 5 minutes later. I get a call from legal and they're like, you got it.
Wow. Good for you.
Which means I didn't ask for enough. If it was that easy to make the decision. But no, I mean, that was
good for you.
That was a moment that I was like, I think will stand out in my mind probably for the rest of my life as like, and I'm proud of myself moment for like doing it and asking for it because I knew I deserved it kind of a situation. And they gave it to me and yeah, it was great.
Wow. I remember like years and years ago, I once like asked a boss for a raise and they were like, no, because you do comedy. Like that was the reason. That was his whole like justification.
Wait, I remember this. I feel like you told me about this when this happened.
Yeah, I've just had I always had terrible day job stories, just like people constantly reminding me that I'm not worth a raise. So I've had like the opposite experience as you. It's good though. No, but this is what makes us stronger. That's really neat. Wow. And so I can't believe Fox was like, nobody sexually harassed you, right? That's good.
Yeah. I mean, if I were in their position, I would have been fishing for the same thing. If they knew it was coming, this new person wants to leave. Most people in their minds were like, why does she want to leave? I had a lot of people asking me after the fact, why I left, what it was. Because in some people's minds, they're like, why would you leave all of that money and like that job security and that audience? And you're like, well, if it's not what I want to do, like, why am I doing it?
Was it like a multi-year contract, or was it like
just year by year? I could have signed a 3-year to get health insurance, but I was like, no, I don't want to be locked in for that long. But I don't know. I think there are a lot of things that any person can do in their life and be good at it. But it's about what you want to do. And other people won't get it. And you have to be secure enough in yourself to be like, okay, then you don't do it.
Yeah, it takes balls to like leave money for like, no, I want to like really try to go for more happiness here.
Yeah.
So you were at Fox for only a couple of years before you left?
It was like 2.5 years. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, probably because you have people there that like want to be lifers. They want to like be the next big thing. Like, I'll do whatever it takes. They walk into Aile's office like putting knee pads on. They're like, I'm gonna get this position.
Well, don't get me wrong. Like, it's tempting. Certainly, it's tempting. I had someone reach out maybe like 6 months ago about the possibility of me going back. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So, but yeah, I mean, of course, yeah, it's tempting, but I'm not easily tempted, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's good. There's nothing more powerful than a woman who's not desperate. That's
that's certainly not me.
Yeah. Cool. So now you've been working with Bill for, gosh, how long has Mornin been on?
Too long.
5 years?
No. It's more? Been like a little over 3 years. I think it was 3 in February that I've been on the show.
Yeah. And it's like, it probably feels almost like, I don't know, it's like a real relationship. It's kind of like you're married to somebody. Like you probably like day in, day out, if you have your arguments, whatever, you got to work through them.
Oh my God. Yeah. But, ultimately, I mean, he always has my best interests in mind, and I really respect him for that, and I appreciate that about him, because some people are literally just looking out for themselves in this industry, and he's not one of those people. And I think that speaks to also like I'm always shocked at how many friends he has kept, for like the span of his life. He's like, oh, this is my old friend from this magazine I worked at 25 years ago. And you're
wow.
Like, what?
That's amazing. I just had like 3 of my college roommates unfriend me all at the must have been all at the same time, like on Facebook. Like they're all I think they also blocked me. I was just like, oh, wow. Yeah. And I texted one of them and be like, did you I didn't hear back. I was like, wow.
Did you think you were gonna hear back?
I did. I was like, I didn't do anything like that. I was like, what is this over? So I don't know. It's a mystery.
That says more about them than it says about you.
Oh yeah, they're cunts. I realized I didn't actually lose anything. I'm like, oh, we weren't friends and we had been growing apart for years now. So, but it's always just like, oh, I'm like, who even uses Facebook anymore?
Yeah, I look at it occasionally just to see what's up, but the people who pop up are people that I barely remember. So it's like I'm just looking at strangers' lives.
Yeah, and I don't know what are these kids up to that I've never met, will never meet. Yeah. Like, oh, looks like they're having fun at camp.
I am excited though. I have a high school reunion of sorts coming up. I'm closest with my high school friends than I am with college friends. And so I'm actually really excited for this. I went to a performing arts high school, and I've kept in touch with a handful. And one of them is throwing this big party in her parents' backyard.
Ooh.
And inviting a ton of people. And that I'm excited for, because it was a performing arts like magnet high school. So there were other regular kids who went. So it's not like a big high school reunion for all the kids. It's just like the theater group.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I'm excited to like see everyone. But I might need some of that CBD cushy beforehand to help my introvert
I will hook you up.
relax a little bit.
Yeah, I remember when kind of Facebook was first coming out, like a couple of years in, people were like, oh, we don't need reunions anymore. Like, so much for high school. We already know what everybody's up to. But now I think we're at the point where like, ugh, with the censorship and people slowly getting like blocked and booted over time. It's like, yeah, I would go to a high school reunion now. Like I want to see how fat everybody got in person. You know what I mean? I want to know that there's not a filter behind that, you know?
Yes, I am no longer wearing a back brace. I think it's important for people to see.
When did you get your back brace?
No, I wore it from 7th to 10th grade. So there was my solid final 2 years of high school. I was free of the apparatus, but
did it fix your school? I had scoliosis too, but I guess I wasn't like back brace worthy.
Yeah, so apparently if you go to about a 35-degree curvature, they recommend surgery. So I was at 31.
Whoa.
So they were just worried it was going to continue because I was only like 12 at the time when they found it. So they were worried as I grew, it would get worse and then I would need surgery. So they put me in a brace in 7th grade and I wore it 16 hours a day for 4 years.
Wow.
But what's crazy is that there are now a lot of people that I know who've worn back braces. Karen Margolis is another comedian who she also wore one. So every time we see each other, we bring it up because, you know, we're attractive now and we need to make sure people know about that.
So you weren't wearing it to sleep, just like...
No, I did wear it to sleep.
Oh, no.
I wore it to sleep because that was like a main chunk of time. Because in the afternoons, I would have dance class, so I couldn't wear it for that. So I'd wear it while I slept. And then in the morning to school, I would take it off, usually either before gym class, if it was in the morning, or before lunch, because like it was difficult to eat with it on. But I couldn't wear jeans when I was wearing it. So
oh no,
I would wear sweatpants in the morning. And then in the afternoon, when I took my brace off, I'd change into my cute, like limited tube jean outfit.
Ooh.
But I then realized later on in life that it probably just looked like I pissed myself every day and had to change my pants.
I wonder if it's a thing with like naturally thin women, because this girl, Kara, in gymnastics had to wear a back brace. We were on the same gymnastics team. And I kept thinking it would be
Do you know what it might be? This is going to sound so mean, but I don't care. You can just detect it better in skinny girls.
Oh,
when they bend
so
over, it's like all those bones just pop out. And you're like,
yes, yeah. I wonder if there's a lot of fat women with scoliosis running around not getting detected.
Yeah, you know what? That's a cause I need to champion.
Yeah.
That's better detection for fat women.
Yeah. Just ignored left and right. The doctor's like, ugh, get out of my sight. You're fine, I guess. I don't know. But it's good that you had that kind of young in life, sort of. I mean, I had braces in college, which like truly sucked because I like got them on at 19. Didn't get them off till I was like 22 or 23. And
oh, wow.
It was bad. It was bad for everything. It was bad for no boyfriends.
Well, from what I remember, you and I waited quite a bit to give up our flower.
Yeah, I was almost 19. It was October.
I was almost, yeah, me 5th? Too. I was almost 19.
Was it October 5th or October 3rd? I don't remember.
Imagine if we lost it on the same day.
I have an autistic memory of dates. Yeah, it was, I remember because it was like after the Rusted Root concert. I lost it to Steve-O. He was a roadie. I think I just was like, oh, I really like the way you set up that speaker. Let's do this. I remember I was upset with my roommate at the time because she was moving to the quad. I felt like she was abandoning me. So we bucked on her futon.
Huh. That's very like animalistic of you.
Yeah.
Like a marking of the territory.
Also, it was in a very strange way. Like the position was like, I'm him, I'm Steve-O, and I'm the microphone just on top, but like facing that way.
Oh.
So I was like, my back was to him, almost like we were launching into space. For my first time. I don't know what I was thinking. Or maybe I was doing kind of like a back grind or something, and then just kind of like went in, and I was like, whoop, and then that was it. I wasn't even looking at him when I lost my virginity. How weird is that?
You know what, though? Probably for the best.
I was just like, I'm focused. I'm looking up. I'm just looking at the ceiling. Yeah. And it was like no big deal. I remember I told him afterwards, I was like, yeah, you were my first. And he was like, really? It didn't seem like it. And I was like, that's because I know what I'm doing.
Because he was like, she turned away from me.
Probably.
I could have sworn she was a pro.
Right. Why would you face away from someone on your first time? Why wouldn't you want to look the person in the face? I already knew. I was like, I don't want to count this one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We all have those that we're like, is it a half a finger? I don't know.
Yeah. What about you?
For the college boyfriend, made him wait like 5 months. But it was after I got a flat tire, called him, he drove to meet me and changed my tire. And it was my sister's best friend who was like, you have to fuck him now.
Now you have to. Yeah.
You have to. And I was like following him home or whatever. And I was like, you know what? He deserves it. Like, I am so an active service person in terms of like love languages. And I was like, he did that for me. He really deserves this. But I was so nervous. And I told him I was so nervous. And he said the sweetest thing. He was like, I'm right here with you. And I was like, oh my God, heart melting. My little 18-year-old self was like, he's a keeper. And yeah, it was fine. It was fine.
Wow. So this was someone you knew. This was someone that did something nice for you right before.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I think I was just trying to get closer to a Rusted Root autograph, to be honest.
And you probably were. You just weren't facing the right way.
I wasn't just facing away from poor Steve-O. Yeah. And then I did have sex with him, I think, one more time. I think he came in. Yeah, when I had moved into a different dorm, he came over during intersession, which was when you'd go up early. I was a diver, so I'd go up in like January or like from after Christmas through the New Year's. You just go up and train. I was like the only person in my dorm. There's like very little security. The RAs aren't there. So I had him come visit me in the dorm, and we both tried to take a shower together, but I forgot my card and it locked. I couldn't get back into my room. We're both in towels. We were like, oh, what are we going to do? Like, I can't get back into our room with the clothes. And so I had to walk out. I told the story before. I had to walk out into the middle of the quad in the snow, like at least a foot of snow in my towel.
Uphill?
Not uphill, just into like a very open field, like highly visible, this blue help pole. I put a flip-flop in the door so that the front door wouldn't lock on me. I said, Steve-O, you just got to hide up there, just like wait for the signal. I didn't tell him what the signal was. I didn't know what I was going to do. So I just I pressed the pole. I was like, help, I'm here at Regis Hall. Like, I locked myself out. I'm in a towel. Like, I need help getting in. And sure enough, like 2 minutes go by. The security guy comes. He's like, do you really go here? And I was like, yes, I really go here. What kind of a sicko would I be to just like show up?
Travel in a towel?
Yeah. Like I just show up here at a college campus in a towel trying to get in. He's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I'll show you my ID card as soon as you let me in. And then so he lets me in. I don't know if Steve-O's going to be out of the bathroom. I don't know if he'd be lingering in the hallway. So I just sort of, as soon as we got the stairs, I was like, Kaka! I just was like, he's like, are you okay? I just was like yelling, hoping that he wouldn't come out because it was highly not allowed to have a boy over. And then he opened the door, I got my card, and he didn't do a bathroom check, thank God, because I don't know, that would have been bad.
Oh boy.
And then I think I never saw Steve-O again after that. I think that was too much excitement.
I mean, not only did you never see him again, he can never hear the cry of a bird without just like cowering in fear.
Yeah. He's probably like, was it me? The sex was not good, but I didn't know better. Like it's your first couple of times. You don't know what good is yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I had anal sex before regular sex because I was like, oh, the Lord doesn't care about that hole. I went to a conservative college. Not conservative, Jesuit. I don't know. Not that I was super religious, but I was a little bit kind of being a prude.
Well, that's the hole I'm saving for marriage. So, religion means different things to different people.
Yeah. And now it's exit only. I've really turned a corner. Wow. that was really, I really got into it there. I think I've shared that story like.
I loved the imagery. You're a very good storyteller.
Wow, thank you.
Really, I enjoyed that story.
I wonder where Steve-O is. Like, do you ever keep in, like, are you still in touch with your first person?
Let me tell you, that was a very tumultuous ending, so no. But I am a curious person. I, on the reg, will just like do a cursory search of pretty much all of my exes.
Yes, I sometimes do that too.
I have no shame. I'm just curious. I want to know. I'm sure if I ever went to a therapist, I've never been to one, I'm sure they would say it's not healthy. But
you just want to make sure you're doing better than them. It's really gratifying.
Kind of, but it's also just weird. Like when someone's a part of your life and then they're not, like you're just not supposed to care what they're up to.
It's like, look, you were inside me. What am I going to not stalk you? Yeah.
You know, and it's like some of them set their profiles to private. And I'm like, why would you do that?
Yeah. Why are you trying to stay away from me?
Do you know that I search for you every 24 hours? No.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, but I generally don't keep in touch with exes. Out of respect for like the current person I'm with, you know, because that's weird. I don't know. Unnecessary, really.
Yeah. And you've been with your current boo for a couple of years. Was he like an improv guy? Am I totally?
No, he's a sketch guy.
Ooh.
Sketch comedy. Yeah. We met doing another off-Broadway show, the same producer as the Awesome 80s Prom. This was called That Bachelorette Show. And so we technically got married at the end of the show. We got married before we even started dating. So it was a showmance. And I'm usually against showmances because I'm like, they never last and it's so stupid and you should be professional. But I pursued him. He wasn't at rehearsal one day and I was like, he's not here. It's like when your crush isn't in math class. You're like, where are they?
Like now I have to learn.
Yeah. I have nothing to look forward to. Huh.
Yeah.
And so, 6 years later, we are.
God.
I know.
Look at you. Yeah. We have a salty super tweet from Super Truther. Men are just stepping stones anyway. Hey, that's not true.
I wonder, have I used men as stepping stones? I've tried. The ones that could really help me get ahead ended up ghosting me, but yeah.
Yeah, the same. The guys that could have really helped me did not.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't everyone look at what a stepping stone is. You're going from there to something else. That's everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You're either going up or down.
I'm not going to step around you if you're right there.
Yeah.
I'm going to step on you.
Yeah. It's either that. If it's stone or the mud, you're going to go with the stone. This is Roaz. Can I just hear you both say bad things about Bill de Blasio? How has he ruined New York City? What about Cuomo? God, they're both such horrible, dick-faced, lying. I feel like I could go into a Chevy Chase-esque rant about them both. I hope they both... I don't know. I'm about to say something terrible, but yeah.
It's just... I just don't like out of touchness, right? Like I have been taking the subway for the past year. Like even in the middle of the pandemic, like I'm taking the subway.
You never stopped. You were like, yeah.
I did for maybe like 2 months, but then I was going back to work at restaurants and I was going back to the studio to do Mornin, and like I saw like how really the city changed, and it's not the same. And I hope we can rebound better, but it's kind of sad.
It is really sad, especially to see like so many people like bent over, clearly on heroin, like no shame, mixing it up in the middle of the
first
subway.
Time in my 11 years living in New York City, I saw someone shooting up on 34th Street in Herald Square, like right by the Target.
Exactly how you get, like when you get up the subway stairs. I walk up that one
11:30 a.m. and someone has a needle in their arm, and there's 2 cops standing 200 feet away. I'm sure they're thinking, what are we supposed to do? You know, it's a tough spot for everyone right now. Like,
they're like the best
I don't know.
part of waking up Heroin in your arm. Yeah, what are the cops going to do? Tell him that he's worth it and to get off of it?
We see you're having a tough time, sir. How can we help you? Like, what are...
Look, I'm going to take you to get a green smoothie and we're going to talk about it. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Free speech wants to know, Joanne, who did you vote for in 2016 and 2020? How personal.
Okay, so I was a bit, so 2016, I was like libertarian all the way, Gary Johnson, it's happening. So I'm pretty sure I voted for Gary Johnson in 2016. And then I voted for Biden in 2020. I did.
What?
I did it.
What?
I was just feeling it. And so I did.
Do you feel it now?
Again, let me tell you, I have received some emails from my very conservative family. And they're like, God, scary time right now. Oh God, this is so scary. Saying the word scary many times. And I'm like, you are privileged white people. I don't really know what you're scared about right now. So I don't see much of a change, honestly, between the two administrations on my level.
Right, my daily
life.
You're not at the gas station. Yeah.
I'm not. So again, ignorant of me, and I will own it. I'm an ignorant white girl who's just comfortable. And I'm grateful for that. Don't get me wrong. Like, I recognize how grateful I am to not have any of this affect me, but it really doesn't. So I think for the world outside of me, that's, I guess, more of what I was thinking about when I was voting. And who knows? It yet to be seen. We still have a few more years left. We'll see.
Yeah, I guess right. The Metro card hasn't gone up. And until I think you personally get mugged or attacked, it's easy to ignore the crime rate going up because you're like, well, I guess it's just New York City, you know?
Yeah. It's hard too, though, because it's like, I don't know that a person in charge is necessarily can have all of that put on them. Because it's been happening. Again, I've been riding the subway for a year. It's been happening, this increase in crime and all of this stuff. So it's like, but what is the catalyst? Like, who is actually responsible? That I can't tell you.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like actively supporting, like defund the police and taking funds away or redistributing funds like from the police force might be a specific change that I didn't see with Trump, obviously.
Well, I certainly think that cops are more afraid to get involved.
Yeah, they don't want to do their jobs now. They don't want to lose their jobs.
Or like they don't know how to do it without, like, they can't act quickly enough maybe because they're nervous about what that could mean. I don't know.
It's hard. It's a hard job to have right now. And people are just, it's like culturally accepted to shit on the police and disrespect them. It's like, it's really sad, but I hope things turn around. Okay, Joe. Oh God, I wanted to ask you more questions, but we've already hit the hour mark.
This was so fun.
This was so fun. Where can people find you, follow you, and watch you on Compound Media Monday through Thursdays at 10 or 10:30?
10 a.m. Compound Media Monday through Thursday. You can catch Bill and I doing Mornin. If you're not sure yet, if you want to subscribe, you can check out, we have some longer clips on YouTube. So check out, I think it's Mornin with Bill and Joe on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember her name.
Channel. And your own Twitter handle for the show, which is good.
Yeah, for the show. Otherwise, you can see me on Twitter at Joanne Nosuchinsky, also on Instagram. Feel free to troll me. Feel free to say whatever you need to get out. You need to feel important. So go ahead and do it.
That's awesome. I love it.
You all need a platform to voice yourself. So go right ahead. And that's about it. I did stay tuned. I have something coming up. I hate when people say that.
Ooh.
I hate when influencers and people are like, I can't tell you right now, but I have something I'm going to tell you about later, but I can't tell you right now. But listen, because I'm going to tell you. But no, really, I shot a thing for Apple Plus, a TV show.
Ooh.
I have a small role, but potentially in 2 episodes. So as soon as I know when that's airing, I will let you guys know.
That's so exciting. And guys, yeah, remember to like and subscribe to this channel if you are not already. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Joanne. You're such a pleasure. You're a joy. You're a delight.
Thanks.
I'll see you soon. All right.
Bye.
Bye.